On June 8, 2026, Anthropic shipped Fable 5. Within days, the same post was everywhere. One prompt, and it built the whole app, front end, back end, the entire interface, in a single shot. In testing, Stripe pointed it at a code migration that would have taken a team of engineers more than 2 months by hand. And it finished in a single day. And if you're an AI engineer who spent the last year getting good at agent frameworks and multi-step workflows, you watched that and felt something drop. Because that stack, the orchestration, the chaining, the agent scaffolding you put on your resume, Fable 5 just did most of it from one prompt. That layer didn't get out-competed. It got absorbed. And be specific about what got absorbed. The manual work of breaking a big task into 5 steps and feeding them in one at a time? Gone, because Fable 5 holds the whole thing in its head now. The prompt chaining glue, the brittle few-shot scaffolds, the orchestration logic that only existed because last year's models couldn't carry the load? Eaten. But look closely at what is not on that list. Deciding the task was worth doing in the first place, and confirming that what came back is actually right. Those didn't move an inch. So let me tell you what actually died, what didn't, and exactly where to put your effort now. Because the part Fable 5 ate was never your real value. It was scaffolding. Stay with me, and you'll walk away with one rule for deciding what's worth learning, 4 concrete directions to build on, and the exact way to practice each. Here's the first sign the panic is aimed at the wrong thing. Even the people showing off Fable 5 don't just fire one prompt and walk away. Mike Krieger, Instagram's co-founder, now running Anthropic's labs, has used Fable 5 for months. And the way he actually works is, plan first, let the model build, then verify what it ships. The model does the producing. The human still owns the deciding and the checking. Hold on to that, because it's the whole map. Now the rule. Every time a model like Fable 5 gets stronger, it swallows the work on the generation side, producing, writing, building, and it pushes the value to the judgment side, deciding what to build and confirming it's right. That's the pattern, and there's a hard number behind it. Researchers compared coding agents across 3 straight generations of the same model family. The advantage you got from the framework wrapped around the model shrank from about 19 percentage points to under 4, to under 1. As the models got smarter, the clever scaffolding mattered less and less, until picking the better model beat picking the better framework entirely. Generation is heading to 0. Judgment is not. So before you learn anything, ask one question. Is this skill covering for something the model can't do yet, or is it doing something the model fundamentally can't? If it's covering, Fable 5, or the model after it, will eat it. If it's judgment the model can't supply, that's where you dig. 4 places to dig, and how. The first, and the one I'd grab before anything else, is verification, because it's both technical and genuinely scarce. When generation costs nothing, everything collapses onto one question. Can you say, with confidence, that this output is correct enough to ship? Keep this in your head. If a task is solvable and easy to verify, it gets automated. Everything else stays human. So the skill that holds is defining correctness and checking it. Practice it like this, today. Before you build, write down what done means as a list of conditions you could actually test. Here's the difference that makes. Make the login faster is not a spec, it's a wish. Login finishes under 1 second for 95% of users on a normal connection is a spec. Because now you and the model both know when it's done and how to prove it. Half the skill is refusing to start until the goal reads like that. Then, for anything the model hands you, build the smallest possible check. 3 test cases that would prove it wrong, or 1 ground truth fact to test it against. And review by evidence, not by reading every line. You confirm 2 things only. The spec was tight, and the result holds up against proof. And go 1 step further. Turn those checks into a small, reusable eval. 10 cases that capture what correct means for this task, that you rerun every time the model or the prompt changes. Whoever owns that eval set owns the quality bar, and that's leverage that survives every model upgrade. Do that, and you become the person who can be trusted to ship. That person doesn't get replaced. The second direction is judgment, taste, and I'll strip the mysticism off it because vague advice here is useless. Taste is 3 concrete things: deciding what's worth building, defining what good enough is, and smelling when something is subtly wrong even though it runs. You build it through exposure and feedback, but you make it deliberate. 1. Study the best work in your field a little every day and answer 1 question. Which decision did they get right? 2. Keep a decision journal. Write down why you chose what you chose, then come back weeks later and check whether you were right. That loop, choice then consequence, is the only thing that grows judgment, and almost nobody does it on purpose. 3. Stop dodging the post-mortem when something breaks. Figuring out how a system failed when no single part was built to fail is the best judgment training there is. The third direction is depth in 1 specific domain, a Moat Fable 5 structurally can't take. Because being general is exactly its weakness here. It doesn't carry the history of your system, the buried reasons your team made its choices, the outage 6 months ago everyone now quietly codes around. Here's the test. At 2 in the morning, with the model switched off, can you explain to another human why this thing works? If you can't, it isn't yours yet. So pick a domain narrow enough to truly own, go deeper than any training set reaches, and write down the why behind your decisions, not just the what. That context lives in no model's training data, and that's exactly why it's yours. The fourth direction is to move up the stack, toward architecture, integration, accountability. The further you get from pure execution, and the closer to owning outcomes, the safer you are. Because Fable 5 can generate components, but it can't build alignment across a team, turn a messy business need into the right trade-off, or answer for it when the system goes down at the worst possible time. Fable 5 will happily generate 3 different architectures and argue that all 3 are fine. Which one your company should actually live with for the next 3 years, given your team, your scale, and the mess you already have, is a call it cannot make for you. So take the seat where, if it breaks, it's on you. Practice turning vague requirements into clear technical calls. That doesn't compress into a prompt. Now, one tool sharper than all of that, because it reframes the whole question. Stop asking what AI can't replace. Ask, of everything I did today, which parts deposit into an account only I own? Your reputation. Work with your name on it. Relationships and trust. Data or context nobody else has. Direct access to an audience. Fable 5 can do a task, but it can't copy the thing that's yours and compounds over years. So a practical move. Once a quarter, look at where your hours actually went and tag them. The hours that made something with your name on it, took you deeper into a domain, or built a real relationship. Those compounded. The hours that produced output Fable 5 can now redo in a minute. Those evaporated. You don't need a dramatic pivot. Just tilt the balance, quarter after quarter. And here's the one real warning. The most dangerous place to plant your identity is in a single technology, a framework, one model's tricks, a particular library. Being the agent framework person felt safe a year ago. Fable 5 just showed you why it isn't. Tools get flattened with the next release. Judgment doesn't. So, in one breath, one rule: build on the judgment side, not the generation side. 4 directions: verification, judgment, domain depth, and owning architecture and outcomes. 1. Reframe. Spend your hours on what compounds into an account only you own. The headline says Fable 5 made engineers worthless. It's wrong, and now you can see why. Your value didn't go to zero, it moved. The part Fable 5 automated was never the moat, it was the busy work. The model cleared the scaffolding and handed you back the job that was always the real one: deciding what's worth building and proving it's right. Knowing how to build was only ever the entry ticket. Knowing how to judge is the moat. So go build it.